always believed that family was everything. Through thick and thin, I stood by my brother Ryan, covering his bills when he was struggling, helping with his kids, and making sure his family never went without. I never asked for anything in return. I just wanted to be a good brother. But this year, everything changed. Christmas was always a big deal for our family. Every year, we gathered at Ryan's house, shared laughter, exchanged gifts, and enjoyed a meal together. It was tradition. Or at least, that's what I thought. A week before Christmas, I noticed something strange. No phone call, no invitation, not even a casual mention of our usual family gathering. At first, I brushed it off, assuming Ryan was just busy. But something didn't sit right with me. The silence felt deliberate. When I finally asked him about it, his response left me frozen. "We're keeping things small this year," he said. "Just family." Just family. As if I wasn't part of it. I tried to keep my voice steady. "Ryan, I don't understand. We always do Christmas together." There wasn't even a pause before he replied. "Yeah, but there's just no place for outsiders, you know?" It felt like the air had been knocked out of my lungs. After everything I had done for him, I was suddenly an outsider. I didn't argue. I didn't beg for an invitation. If that was how he saw me, then fine. But deep down, I couldn't shake the question. Was I only considered family when he needed my money? That moment was a turning point. I sat in silence for a long time after that call, his words echoing in my head. No place for outsiders. It wasn't just about Christmas. It was a clear message. I was only useful to him when he needed something. For years, I had been there. When his wife, Emily, lost her job, I covered their rent. When their car broke down, I paid for the repairs. When they wanted to send their kids to a better school, I helped with tuition. I gave and gave, never asking for anything in return. And now, I wasn't even worthy of a seat at the dinner table. Something inside me shifted. I wasn't angry, not yet. I was just done. For the first time, I saw my relationship with Ryan for what it really was. It wasn't about family. It was about convenience. And if I wasn't family enough to be invited to Christmas, then why should I be family enough to keep funding his life? So, I stopped. At first, nothing happened. Christmas passed, and I spent it alone. It wasn't ideal, but I was used to being on my own. I figured Ryan wouldn't even notice that the money had stopped. I was wrong. 3 weeks later, my phone rang. I let it go to voicemail. A few minutes later, another call. Then another. Then Emily called. Then Ryan again. I already knew what was happening. Then the text started. "Hey man, I need to talk to you. Call me back." Dude, what's going on? I just checked my account. Are you seriously ignoring me? I need your help. Help. There it was. When he called again, I finally picked up. My voice was neutral. "What's up?" His tone was immediately frustrated. "You know what's up. The money. Why didn't you send anything this month?" I let out a small laugh. "Oh, I figured you didn't need an outsider's money." Silence. For the first time, Ryan had no words. No place for outsiders, right? I continued. "That's what you said." He stammered, his confidence crumbling. "Look, man, that's not what I meant. You know that. I don't know, I was stressed. But we need you, okay? The mortgage is due, Emily's still not working, the kids." I cut him off. "Not my problem." Another pause. Then his voice changed. He wasn't asking anymore. He was demanding. "You can't do this, man. We're family." I smiled. "No, Ryan. I was family, until you made it clear I wasn't." I hung up. I knew this wasn't over. Ryan wasn't the type to accept no easily. But this time, he had no idea what was coming. It didn't take long for things to escalate. Emily was the next to reach out. "Hey, I know Ryan can be harsh, but the kids shouldn't suffer because of this. They love you, you know. Don't do this to them. If you're mad at Ryan, fine, but don't punish our family over a misunderstanding." A misunderstanding. Funny how people suddenly change their tune when money's involved. Then came the calls from Mom. At first, I ignored them, but she was relentless. When I finally picked up, she didn't even bother with a greeting. "You're really going to let your own brother suffer?" I sighed. "He's the one who told me I wasn't family, remember?" "You know he didn't mean it like that," she snapped. "He was just stressed. Why are you being so petty?" I almost laughed. "Petty? Let me get this straight. I've given Ryan thousands of dollars over the years. Helped him when no one else did. And the moment I say no, I'm petty." She hesitated. "That's not what I meant. But he's struggling. He has a family to take care of." "And whose fault is that?" I asked. Because last time I checked, it wasn't mine. I had gone over everything in my head, double-checked every decision, every moment that had led to this. But no matter how many times I replayed it, the conclusion was always the same: I wasn't the villain in this story. I hadn't married Emily. I hadn't told them to buy a house they couldn't afford. And I sure as hell hadn't made Ryan call me an outsider. Her voice turned cold over the phone. "So that's it. You're just abandoning your own family." I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of years of resentment pressing against my chest. Then, finally, I said the words I had been holding back for so long. "No, Mom. You abandoned me first." And with that, I hung up. I thought that was the end of it. I had drawn my boundary, made my choice. But Ryan wasn't finished. The next day, my phone rang. An unknown number. Normally, I wouldn't answer, but something in me whispered that I should. I picked up. It was Ryan, and he was furious. "You think you're better than us, huh?" he growled. "You think just because you have money, you can treat me like garbage?" I didn't respond. I just let him rant. "You're so selfish. You have everything, and you won't even help your own brother. I swear, if my family ends up homeless, that's on you." A short laugh escaped me, sharp and bitter. "No, Ryan. That's on you." Silence. Then, a final warning hissed through the speaker. "You're going to regret this." The call ended, but I didn't feel regret. I knew Ryan would. After that last outburst, I assumed I had finally heard the last of him. For weeks, I kept my distance. Christmas came and went. And for the first time in years, I spent the holidays in peace. No guilt-tripping, no forced obligations. I had dinner with friends, relaxed, and let myself breathe. It felt good. Then, a few days into the new year, my phone rang again. This time, it was my cousin Jessica. "Hey, have you heard what's happening with Ryan?" My stomach twisted. "No. Why?" She hesitated. "It's bad. Like, really bad." Ryan's situation had unraveled faster than I imagined. His house was in foreclosure. His credit cards were maxed out. His job barely covered their basic expenses. And worst of all, Emily was done. For years, she had tolerated his financial recklessness, his poor decisions, his endless borrowing. But once she realized there was no safety net left, she finally snapped. She packed up, took the kids, and left for her parents' house. That's when the phone calls started again. First, Mom tried. "Ryan's going through a rough time. You should help him." I ignored her. Then, Dad took his turn. "He's still your brother, you know." I ignored him too. Finally, Ryan called. When I saw his name flash on my screen, I almost declined. Almost. But some part of me wanted to hear what he had to say. I answered. Silence at first. Then, "Hey." His voice was quieter than usual. I waited. "I know we haven't exactly been on the best terms." I raised an eyebrow. That's one way to put it. And I know I said some things I shouldn't have. About Christmas. About you not being family. I stayed quiet. "I was wrong," he admitted, voice raw. "Emily, she left. She took the kids to her parents' place. She said she's tired of struggling." Still, I said nothing. "I don't know what to do," he continued. "I need help. Just a little money to get back on my feet. You know I'd pay you back." I laughed. I actually laughed. Because after everything, Ryan still hadn't learned. Taking a deep breath, I finally spoke. There's no place for outsiders, right? Silence. What? I repeated myself, letting the words sink in. That's what you said to me. That's why I wasn't invited to Christmas, because I wasn't family. I could hear his breathing change, turning heavier, more uneven. That was different. I scoffed. No, Ryan. It wasn't. For years, I had been the backup plan, the safety net, the one who fixed his messes when he inevitably crashed. Not anymore. You made your bed, I told him. Now you get to lie in it. His voice sharpened. You don't get it. This isn't just about me. My kids are Emily's responsibility now, I cut in. Not mine. His tone cracked. Desperate now. Please, man. I hung up. And just like that, it was over. A month later, I heard through the family grapevine that Ryan had moved back in with our parents. Emily officially filed for divorce. She had taken the kids and refused to let Ryan see them without court supervision. And my parents. They had turned on each other. Mom blamed Dad for not stepping in earlier. Dad blamed Mom for coddling Ryan too much. Meanwhile, I moved on. I stopped worrying about a family that never worried about me. I stopped chasing love and acceptance from people who never truly saw me as one of their own. And in the end, I learned something valuable. Family isn't about blood. It's about the people who stand by you. The ones who support you without expectation. The ones who don't make you feel like an outsider. Ryan, Mom, Dad, they were just people I happened to share DNA with. But my real family, the people who never abandoned me, never guilt-tripped me, never made me feel lesser, those were the ones I chose to keep in my life.